Today, first video on the channel, we are going to be going through the GOAT of every UFC weight division and who has the chance to surpass them. Okay? This is not a video about who's second GOAT, who's the second best GOAT. No, this is a video about who has the best chance to surpass them. So number one, I don't even need to say who the GOAT of Flyweight is. None other than Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. 11 title defenses, 11 wins by submission, recently retired. You can't really argue that. The fighter who has the greatest chance to surpass him is none other than Alexandre Pantoja. Pantoja, how many title defenses do you have? 4 or 5? That guy is a marauder. No, I'm kidding. But that guy, if Pantoja racks up another 2-3 defenses at flyweight over just randos that come up in the division, and he has a good chance of winning a second belt, I'd say, too, if Merab remains champion against Umar. I think Pantoja, you could call him the flyweight GOAT. He's borderline in conversations right now to be in talks with DJ, but right now I think he needs 1 or 2 good wins at flyweight, and then if he gets a second belt, then you got to start putting some respect on Pantoja, to say the least. Next division, Bantamweight division. The GOAT, this might be a little controversial to some people who are WEC super fans, and I'm not a casual. Aljamain Sterling is the GOAT of Bantamweight. Look, Dominic Cruz was fighting horrible competition. I'm sorry. When he started to fight good competition, he lost, or he took time off for injury. Dominic Cruz is one of the most overrated fighters in history. I think old heads who are fight fans try and look at Dominic Cruz and they're like, oh, look at this guy. He was insane back in my day, blah, blah, blah. The sport's evolved. Aljamain Sterling would kill Prime Cruz. I know that's not what GOAT means, but Aljamain Sterling's wins, 2 wins, say what you want about the first one, 2 wins against Peter Yan. That's pretty crazy. Beating Cejudo, too. Cejudo obviously wasn't in his prime, but still, I think Cejudo is better than almost any one of Dominic Cruz's wins. So I'm going to say Aljamain Sterling is the GOAT of Bantamweight, and the guy who has the biggest chance to surpass him. A lot of people are going to be mad, call me a Dagestani glazer. Umar Nurmagomedov. Umar Nurmagomedov is a dog. I'm sorry. This guy, Merab, if he beats Merab, which I think he will, I predict him to beat Merab. If he beats Merab, I think there's no one in the division who gives Umar anything unless they land a lucky punch. Sean O'Malley, we saw his grappling. Sean O'Malley's a great fighter. I think Sean O'Malley, I wish he beat Merab. I am a big Merab hater. But Sean O'Malley, we saw his grappling exposed against Merab. And he's a great striker, but Umar ragdolls him and submits him, in my opinion. I think Umar is one of the most skilled and well-rounded fighters in the UFC. I think he's the next generation of Dagestani fighter, which I'll touch on later in this video once you see some of my further potential future GOATs of divisions. But yeah, I think Umar Nurmagomedov has a great chance to be Bantamweight GOAT. Bantamweight is one of those divisions where it's fairly easy to be GOAT. All you have to do is rack up 3 defenses against high-level competition, 2 defenses even, and you're in the conversation for being the GOAT. And I think Umar is young right now. He says he wants to get to 30-0, which that's pretty crazy. But even if he doesn't, I think I have pretty good outlook to see Umar as a future GOAT, if I'm being honest. Featherweight, you can't really, wait, what? This is out of order. Pretend I'll edit that out in post. But the GOAT of Featherweight, I think Jose Aldo's a Dominic Cruz. I'll put those guys under the same branch of fighter. Old heads who get clinged on to because of their glory days. Look, Jose Aldo got KO'd in 13 seconds by McGregor. Yeah, okay, he has a lot of defenses against who? Like Chad Mendes? Okay, yeah, Chad Mendes was okay. But think about the people that Volk beat. Volk beat Max Holloway 3 times. Think about that. I think Volk is the undisputed GOAT of featherweight. I think there's definitely arguments for Aldo. I don't see an argument for Max. He lost to Volk 3 times. And he lost to Topuria recently. I don't see an argument for Max or Topuria yet. And McGregor, maybe you can say, oh, he had the greatest prime at featherweight. He's not the GOAT of featherweight, just off of statistics and what GOAT means. I think Volk is the GOAT right now, but I think who can surpass Volk? Ilia Topuria. if Ilia Topuria racks up a defense against Diego Lopez and winner of Diego Lopez Movsar, if they make that fight, and then one other defense, or even with just that defense, those 3 defenses and one more after that, actually. One more. We'll say one more after that. But I think having those 3 to 4 defenses against that competition, you win the belt off Volk, KO him, KO Max in the same year. That is crazy to me. That is, who else has done that? It's like beating if someone came and beat Charles and Islam in the same year. It's like, it's insane. I don't think Topuria gets enough justice for those wins. And I think I've heard a lot of talks about Topuria recently saying, oh, I'm going to move to 155. I think that's stupid. I don't think he'll do that. I don't think the UFC will let him do that. Obviously, the fight with him and Charles, as a fight fan, I would really want to see that, but I don't think he should do that for his legacy. I'd like to see him continue and carve a good legacy out at 145 and then eventually challenge. I don't think Islam will be the champ by the time he eventually moves up, but whoever the champ is at 155, whether it's, I think Arman loses to Islam, but Arman stays at the top for a while, and I think Arman will eventually get the belt. But yeah. Next division, I think lightweight GOAT is Islam Makhachev. I mean, you can make an argument for Khabib, obviously, undefeated, but besides being undefeated, what has Khabib done better than Islam? Islam has tied defenses. I think Islam's competition is much better. Volk twice. No one on Khabib's resume compares to Volk. Volk was number 1 pound for pound at the time when Islam fought him. No one on Khabib's resume comes even close to that. Poirier, arguably Khabib's toughest opponent, I'd say, because I think McGregor was out of his prime when he fought Khabib. Islam was up 4-0 in my opinion and submitted him in the 4th. I think Islam is undisputed GOAT of lightweight. I don't think you can argue that. And if he defends against Arman, that just solidifies it, and there's no argument for Khabib in my opinion. Who I think has the potential, you're going to probably say, oh, Arman, you said Arman's going to be champ eventually. This is a hot take, but my potential GOAT, maybe you guys will think I'm trying to be a fake hardcore, Usman Nurmagomedov. This kid, let me tell you about this kid, bro. He is crazy. This guy is like Umar with spinning back. He throws everything. He throws spinning back kicks. He can wrestle like a Dagestani. He's like Zabit with Khabib's wrestling and Khabib in his corner. It's crazy. Watch one of this guy's fights. Watch his next fight. I don't know when he's fighting. I'm a casual. But watch his next fight. This guy is a dog. You will see in his next fight. I think this guy will be... Well, I really want this guy to come to the UFC. That's why I'm hoping... I like Bilal, but I hope he loses the belt because I want Islam to move up so Usman comes to the UFC. I want to see Usman fight in the UFC. I think he's amazing. I think he will definitely be UFC lightweight champion if he chooses to come over, for sure. Moving on. The GOAT of welterweight, Georges St. Pierre. Look, I mean, you can't really argue. Yeah, Usman had 5 title defenses, but honestly, Usman's competition is very overrated. Gilbert Burns, we've seen a major drop-off. Yeah, he was good at the time that Usman beat him, but was Gilbert Burns that good? Was he really? It's time to have that conversation. Also, Colby twice. Like, those Colby fights were amazing. Colby used to be really good after we just saw him get his ass kicked by Joaquin Buckley. I think recency bias is set in for a lot of people, but Colby used to be a really high-level fighter. Those are 2 good wins, but 2 of your title defenses came up on Masvidal. One of them was short notice, and you couldn't even finish him. Let's just be honest. GSP is the go-to welterweight. Avenged his losses. There's no argument there. This next pick I'm not really confident with. I don't even know if he'll win his next fight, which he's fighting for the title. I kind of just had no one else to pick at this division, and I didn't want to pick someone who I'd get roasted for. I had to appeal to all the fake hardcores who are going to watch this video. Shavkat, I don't think he will surpass GSP, but I think if I had to pick someone who's young enough and who has the chance to do it, I think Shavkat could go on like an Aljamain Sterling type run where he wins a bunch of close fights by decision and people are like, oh wow, Shavkat might have passed Usman, he might have passed GSP. Like, I could see him winning fights, winning the belt off Bilal in a similar fight to not a similar fight in how the fight took place, but a similar fight in the way that it'll be like a boring decision to Bilal. I could see him edging out a close decision. Some people say is a robbery. I didn't think the Ian Gary fight was a robbery, but I saw some people say that. But I could see that, and then I think Shavkat is eventually going to become like a fan. People won't like him because of his fight style. I've been saying that Shavkat's boring. I think I actually really like watching him just because of his aura. Like, I can't lie, it's pretty entertaining to watch that guy fight just because he's like Kazakhstan, doesn't speak English. He just has aura, bro. I can't explain it. But he's a good fighter, but I don't know. I don't know if he can surpass GSP unless he goes on an Aljamain Sterling type run where he wins 4 split decisions straight as champion, or like 1, 2, or 3 unanimous controversial decisions, and maybe he finishes one guy. I get like he finishes JDM when JDM fights for the belt. I could see that. Next on the list, middleweight GOAT, Anderson Silva. I mean, you can't really, like, yeah, Adesanya, how many defenses did he get? 5? Adesanya is a great fighter in his prime. Recently lost to Dricus. I'm excited to see him come back against Imavov and Riyadh, but I don't think you can argue that Silva's not the GOAT. Silva, 10 title defenses, yeah, the end of his career, bad, but it's Anderson Silva. Come on. So who I think has the potential to surpass Anderson Silva if he stays active, I think you all know who I'm talking about. It's Khamzat Chimaev. Chimaev, I hope you guys watched that Whitaker fight. I know you did. That was crazy. He ragdolled Robert Whitaker in 1 round in like 2 minutes. This guy is future champ. I mean, if Dricus beats him, that would be pretty funny, just because of how bad Dricus is fundamentally. But I think Khamzat's gonna beat Dricus, and I don't know if anyone at middleweight can pose him a threat. Honestly, I'm interested to see, because I think Dricus versus Khamzat would be closer than Strickland versus Khamzat, because I think Dricus has better offensive and defensive grappling than Strickland. But it'll be interesting to see how that. I hope Dricus wins the belt, because I just want to see Khamzat fight for the belt. I don't want Strickland to win the belt and then Strickland's like, oh, Chimaev doesn't deserve it. He has 1 top win. I'm going to fight Dricus again, which I think the UFC would force him to fight Khamzat. But that's one of the reasons why I kind of want Dricus to win the belt against, or to defend the belt against Strickland, is just so Khamzat can get a shot, because I'm excited to see what this guy can accomplish. I hope that he can fight in the U.S. and stay active, but we'll see. Next up, I wonder who the GOAT of light heavyweight is. Probably Kyle Dawkins. No. John Bones Jones, GOAT, undisputed, not much to say. Crazy resume. Don't like the guy. Drug cheat, ducking Aspinall. Went to the fight in MSG, beat a 42-year-old Stipe. Was boring. Like, Dana White purposefully didn't stack one of the MSG cards just so he could prove Jones could sell pay-per-views, and of course that's the card I go to. I was really praying that Jones Miocic wasn't the main event, but it was. But okay, yeah. At light heavyweight, who can surpass John Jones as the light heavyweight GOAT? Keep in mind, no one. Chris Dawkins, sign him back to the UFC. Is he? Yeah, he's active. Okay, he's in the UFC. This guy, he has the. No, I'm kidding. But realistically, I mean, I'd say Pereira, but Pereira doesn't have time. He's 37 years old. He got pieced up by Khalil Roundtree. It was 2-2 in that fight, 3-1, whatever you scored it. He was getting pieced up by Khalil Roundtree. I don't know. I don't think Pereira has a chance to surpass Jones. He's too old. Like, as light heavyweight GOAT specifically, if Pereira wins a 3rd belt at heavyweight, which I don't think is possible, but if he does, then he's GOAT of the UFC, but he's still not light heavyweight GOAT, if you know what I mean. So I don't think anyone is going to surpass Jones. And if I had to pick someone, Pereira or Chris Dawkins, whatever you want to say, Chris Dawkins, great guy. So next division, Stipe. And there's really not much to talk about heavyweight here. I feel like everyone knows what I'm going to say for the next guy and what I'm going to say about Stipe. 4 title defenses at heavyweight, unheard of. Lost to Jones, retired. He's still heavyweight GOAT. I mean, if Jones beats Aspinall, I think my next choice is contingent on Jones-Aspinall fight. If Jones retires, then it's Aspinall. But if Jones beats Aspinall, then Jones is heavyweight GOAT, in my opinion. And I'm sorry, even with just 2 defenses, I think beating Aspinall after all the talks about duck, this, that, but I realistically think Aspinall would win that fight, or Jones will retire. Those are the 2 options. So let me know what you think about my list in the comments. It's first video. Let me know how I did. Let me know if I'm awkward, should stop making YouTube videos and contemplate what I'm going to do with my life. But thank you for watching if you made it to the end, and I'll be back. I'm here. I'm gonna be uploading videos a lot, so subscribe to me if you want some great MMA content, some fresh MMA content. So I'll see you soon. Signing off.